Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar, Suelio Almeida.
It's Connor Bell racing in his own backyard for the very first time in the NASCAR Canada Series.
The workshops helped out so much. Something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further, and I was able to just keep developing my skill.
I can kind of commit more with the exit there. That was good. If you do take sim racing seriously, it does impact your racing technique for the rest of your life.
I know how the car is going to perform around these corners. Sim, just the benefit of sim racing when you go into real life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite track time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Suelio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on the podium here today.
This is the Almeida Racing Academy 3.0.
Way to race, buddy. Way to race.
Good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions, or indeed if you're tuning in on Suelio's channel, a huge warm welcome to yourselves as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the Almeida Racing League, an exclusive membership here. You've got to be part of the Almeida Racing Academy. Definitely great to see you here and on board. But right now we're going to be racing here in Montreal, and I've got to say it's going to be a absolute belter of an event. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be a name that you are yet familiar with. It's Daniel Bouchard. Daniel, we're going to be here today at Montreal in the Spec Racer 4. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts would be for strategy for this venue.
Well, you gotta be careful on the brakes. The SRF, with its lack of ABS and being a bit twitchy, it's no Formula car, but it's still a bit twitchy. But you gotta be careful in this car on the brakes and on the throttle. Really just gotta be careful. Also, don't over-rotate it, you'll lose it. I've done that numerous times, especially at Oschersleben. So, yeah, I haven't tried this thing on the wheel yet, but I know the car and how it handles from, well, people who've raced it in real life and... well, on the sim, I've known people who've raced it because I've been Weekend Warriors, but I haven't run there outside of the V's, so... because the V is such a fun car. But regardless, the SRF is probably one of my favorite cars in the sim. It's just... I like my low-powered cars, so what can you say?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, definitely, I do personally prefer a lower-powered car as well myself. I think it's more... it develops you as a driver, and I was a Spec Racer Ford advocate for the longest of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was over the moon to see that the Academy did take it on. But we are indeed going to be at Montreal Circuit, otherwise known as Circuit Villeneuve. And I got to say, it's going to be a absolute belter. But before we get too far into this, let's take a quick look here at, ladies and gentlemen, the schedule. Let's see indeed where we've been and where we're going. We started round 1 at Watkins Glen before heading to Barber for round 2. Round 3 was an endurance round of Phoenix, with round 4 taking us here today at Montreal. Next week we'll be over Aragon with round 6 taking us to Oschersleben. Sounds like Daniel Bouchard's personal favourite there. With round 7 moving us to the back half of the season, being in Catalonia, ladies and gentlemen, an endurance round as well. Round 8, a street circuit of the form of Chicago with round 9 of Alton Park, taking us to the closer season of Imola for round 10 and Lebanon rounding out round 11. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick look here at the race format as well. These guys have had about 60 minutes of practice just in this session alone. They do have pit parties throughout the week, and not only that, lap guides as well. 15 minutes of open qualifying. What that means is the cars are on track at the same time. We now have 2 15-minute heat races, ladies and gentlemen, with a randomized invert for heat race 2 before having a little warm-up between it and having a feature race of 20 minutes. There is indeed no facts to prepare, and it is a fixed setup, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers are all driving the same car. But again, we should probably have a look here at the championship points. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, we have 4 splits of this going on. Don't get me wrong, we can't broadcast all 4, but I can tell you that it does make it interesting in the points championship. As I do understand Mr. Bouchard here has got the info on that.
Well, leading the points right now is Charles Krasik of Team Krasik with Darren Sharples in behind. Brian Shabelski, I think that's how you say that. I'm not good with my Polish names. Mason Kuhn and Ian Kwan following behind. That's 319, 315, 296, 290, and 281 points. It's pretty much a close fight at the top with pretty much everyone in the top 7 within 30, 40 points of each other.
Well, definitely looking close for the overall win, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look here at the Premier points as well. These are the drivers that you're going to see in this split, ladies and gentlemen. It's split 1, and Mason Kuhn having a demanding lead right now. Let me do a bit of a zippy math, 52-point lead, and even then, Adrian Hopp getting a little bit of a gap there, 10 points behind Rupesh Paneni, who's actually been incredibly potent. Ian Joyner, last year's champion, last season's champion. Well, I suppose last year as well. It's 2026 now. I've not adjusted yet. But Ian Joyner there, he's currently lagging a little bit behind in all fairness. Result and Zomator, definitely, he's a regular here on the Almeida Academy, having a good run in Premier. But taking a quick look at Club as well, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Felipe Pauls having a roughly a 19-point lead there over Kyra Renz, one of the featured drivers here on Pit Road Productions, because he does use a driver camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have even more guys for you to have a look sim racing here today. Maybe not the best of phrasing, but ladies and gentlemen, it adds to the immersion and indeed to the experience. And we're even going to have a chat with one of the Almeida Academy staff a bit later on in the form of Connor Bell. But you can see there, Tyler Harker, he's about 13 points behind, and even closer battles throughout the field. Look at that in P7, 8, and 9. Jeffrey Atkins, Anthony Ori, and indeed James Conrad, incredibly close there in competition. But I gotta say, it has been absolutely incredible racing here, as right now Barrett Blumett appears to be the fastest man in the session. But let's see if we can find a driver to go on board with here, and why not, let's make it one of our camera drivers here, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed Rich Meesters is currently doing the lap. We'll take a little bit of a scenic view first before heading over to the to an onboard lap.
Well, it's certainly one of the tougher tracks in the sim and in real life. This track it's a street circuit, but it also really isn't, being that it isn't really open to cars anymore. It's more of a bike path during the non-F1 weekend, but it's still a really, really fun track to drive. This one is based on the NASCAR, they got rid of the sausage curbs, so it's been updated since the last time I drove it fully.
Well, certainly right now, these drivers are going to have to try and make the most of any opportunity they can. And one of the things in the Spec Racer Pool that you really want is a draft. Certainly only a couple of the drivers there have been able to demonstrate that realistically they're better off without it. But you see Rich Meesters there, and we are going to have a little bit of a roast here, ladies and gentlemen. Generally, the younger generation is known to be the savvy one with technology, but I'll say that the first 3 driver cams that came in today, I'd say the age of all of them gentlemen is definitely over the age of 50. I apologize if I'm wrong. I'm calling it how I see it here, but Rich Meesters being one of them right now, as he's going to get ready to start an onboard lap as he goes through the final chicane and heads towards the Wall of Champions. Now, Mr. Bouchard, let's see just how well you know Montreal here as we go on board with Rich Meesters.
Well, avoiding the Wall of Champions to get a good run into this front stretch with this little kink into it, heading into the first major braking section of the track, into the notorious section that has caught out lots of people. The 2012 Grand Prix, for example, in those monsoon conditions. So, and even more recently, but that section's now paved on the inside. But this is back in 2012, I think it was. Whoops. Coming into the first of many chicanes on this track. This one is probably the most difficult of the two due to there being just little room, and on the first lap, there's usually going to be pandemonium heading into there. Through the S's and into the second major braking zone, into another group of chicanes, but slightly wider this time. Both these corners, you have to get these exits right to keep up momentum, especially in a car like the SRF with barely any momentum. Down the slightly longer straight, coming up towards the next group of chicanes with another very hard braking zone. This track is basically hard braking zone after hard braking zone after hard braking zone, and just make sure to avoid the sausage curves. Don't hit the wall, but be very careful. Now we're onto the second straight, coming into the probably the most major overtaking opportunity on this track, the hairpin. Extremely hard braking zone, downshift to second or first gear, and make sure to hit those apexes, come through, hit the outside apex, and flyer down the backstretch. This is the section where probably most of the overtakes are going to happen heading into that final chicane in the Wall of Champions, because this drags for a very long time. In a Formula 1 car, this is done in about 15 seconds. In a Spec Racer Ford, it's a lot longer than that, being that you're not going very fast. But it feels fast, and that's all that matters. So if you come down into the final corner, watch out for those sausage curves, watch out for the slowdown, and make sure not to hit the Wall of Champions. And that's a lap around Montreal.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff there. Indeed, Rich Meese's there going through his qualifying pace. What has he been able to do with that, ladies and gentlemen? He's currently there. He's in P18 overall, P12 in class. So definitely could find a little bit more pace. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to do two things at once, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Rupesh Paneni, he's currently at the front of the pack by 0.4 of a second over Ian Joyner. I've got to say, that is an incredible gap there. Not something that we tend to see, especially over Ian Joyner, but looking a little bit further back, though, Barrett Brummett, he was leading earlier on. He's currently about 0.02 of a second behind Ian Joyner. Indeed, let's have a look here at the qualifying going so far, as right now, Tyler Harker, ladies and gentlemen, he is literally right behind this car, and getting a draft of Barrett Brummett. He is leading the club class, and he's currently in P4 overall, with the next competition of Cairo ends further back in P9. Cairo, though, not able to get a drafting partner. Ladies and gentlemen, with such straightaways, you need to get a draft if you want to have the quickest time here in the Spec Racer Ford.
Well, even not in the Spec Racer Ford, the draft is so important at this track, even in the more higher-powered cars, unless there's something like, I don't know, a Daytona prototype or a Formula 1 car, and Cairo N's going to get a slowdown there. I've done that numerous times. That braking zone is really unforgiving. This might be one of the most unforgiving tracks in the sim, not named the Adelaide Street Circuit.
Well,
it's probably also my...
Oh, I apologize. Carry on, Daniel. Carry on.
Yeah, but it's a very, very tough track to get right. You've got to be on your marks 100% of the time, and it's even harder in this 2013 NASCAR configuration back when the NASCAR Nationwide Series, as it was known at the time, came here, where they added sausage curves to some of these chicanes, making them even tighter than they normally are.
Well, certainly that would indeed be a little bit challenging here, as Rupesh Paneni has gone even quicker, ladies and gentlemen. He's now 0.4 of a second ahead of Bas van der Lee, ladies and gentlemen, who's a little bit further back there. But right now, I've got to say, the Premier driver's pretty much locked out the front two rows with Tyler Harker there. But we've got to wonder, can Cairo N's find a draft? It looks like he has potentially found an opportunity here ahead of him. Definitely going to be... We've gone past the days that happened in the teammates. Certainly, we did used to have the red, the blue, and the orange. And honestly, it was a fantastic it was a different kind of racing. I actually really enjoyed it as well. But right now, this is going to be an opportunity for him, because Thomas Niemanen, he's currently in P3 or indeed P12 overall. And he's currently looking to try and score some laps as well. But no draft for Niemanen either. You really have to find someone to draft through here. But right now, I have a feeling that the driver of the 117 car may be seeing some improvement very shortly.
Indeed he will. Having that drafting partner is very, very important, as you keep reiterating and reiterating. It is probably the most important thing around here, as he just ducks out there for... I think he might have a bit of overspeed onto him, and he doesn't want to hit the back of him, because bump drafting in these cars is, how do I put this? Not exactly recommended. These things are very twitchy at the best of times, if they're just in lack of downforce at the rear end. So if you bump someone, well, that front also acts like a scoop, and, well, iRacing tends to send you flying.
Well, definitely, I say challenge accepted. Certainly myself, bump drafting in Spec Ford is a personal favorite of mine. And if you've ever, Daniel, you're going to have to watch a guy called Sammy Hendricks. He's a crucial part of the Almeida Racing Academy, and there is not a single car that man I've yet to see him not bump draft. Formula car, he'll bump draft it. LMP, it doesn't matter. He will bump draft whatever he's got. And indeed, you can do it with the Spec Racer Ford. But right now, let's keep an eye here on Cairo Enns as he's making his way down. He's currently in P10 overall. Makes a pass there going into the final chicane. He's really had a really good slipstream going down. Is it going to be enough? He's currently in P10 overall. P2 in class. Are we going to see an improvement? Can he find his way up? Thomas Niemannen's just gone quicker. He's moved himself into P10. What can Cairo Enns do to fight back? We're keeping an eye on the time, ladies and gentlemen. Is it going to be an improvement?
No. You got to slow down.
Damn.
There was a slowdown there in that final corner. He launched over the sausage curb, and well, that'll get you a slowdown. And well, he had to slow down, so he's probably going back to reset because he probably did some floor damage with that as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another one of our featured drivers today is going to be the one and only, the gentleman himself, Mr. Steven Saunders. And right now, he's currently there having a good lap, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a gentleman in the field, and in his, not just in the fact that, you know, he's a seasoned man. I automatically assume he's a gentleman, but certainly in the way he handles himself on the racetrack. Certainly very polite, very respectful, and I believe he's become one of the ARA community members as well, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly helping to organize some sessions. But ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed the end of qualifying. It's been a heat race. It is a hard cut, so we're going to have to be getting ready now, as indeed this is going to be a absolute belter. Our first grid of the day, Rupesh Panani is going to start at the front with Bas van der Lee in second. Ian Joyner pushed back to the second row. He's going to be there alongside Barrett Brummett in fourth. Tyler Harker, he leads the club class for this qualifying. He's there in fifth with Mason Kuhn in sixth. That's your Split 1 Premier leader, ladies and gentlemen, with Kevin Adrian in 7th. Brandon Priest takes 8th with Jeffrey Westland in 9th. Thomas Niemanen, our favourite Finland driver, he's there in 10th with Cairo Enns in 11th. And indeed, Kevin Lau rounding out your top 12.
In 13th, it's Domenico Sayu, followed by Philippe Falcon. Then it's Jeremy Childers and Philip Marvin following in the row with Kemal Kasim and Carlos Vicania from Brazil. Then we have, rounding out the top 20, Steve Saunders and Tuca Valcasuo. I'm normally good at Finnish, but okay, sorry if I butcher any names. Then Carlton Howard in the 132, round 21st. 22nd is Jeffrey Adkins, followed by Philippe Masson and Rich Meesters, rounding out your top 24.
As we had a little bit of a look further back, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Calabrese, he's going to be there in 25th, and Valdis Vansavicius in 26th. Connor Bell, ladies and gentlemen, one of the academy coaches, and indeed one of the, I believe his title is indeed the community manager. He's going to be there, and we are indeed going to be having a chat with him a little bit later on, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, these drivers are indeed lining up. It's a beautiful day here at Montreal. Certainly, I've had the pleasure of visiting this wonderful city on more than one occasion. Actually, certainly, I know Daniel Bouchard, I'd be very surprised if you've not been to Montreal. It's about an hour and a half away from your location. Actually, no, you'd be less than that. Which side of your...
No, it would be an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, ladies and gentlemen.
Just outside of Ottawa. But yeah, I've been to this track before. It was at the NASCAR weekend in 2010, I think it was. It's the last time I was here, because, well, SBC don't go here, so... And other than the F1 weekend, there isn't any other racing here, so... And I'm not going to the F1 weekend, it's too expensive.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have entertainment, indeed, on a budget, why not just subscribe to Pit Road Productions? We do not charge you to watch this. That's not what we were about, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed about you guys having some good racing action, and indeed that is going to be what you're in store for today. And not only that, we love talking to you in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Pit Road Productions' #1 fan, Mr. Jake Enns, is yet again here in the chat. A huge thank you to you. We've got a few people on Swellio's channel as well. I see TY Miles, Ruthless Racing, Parker Nolan as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on both Swellio's channel and indeed on Pit Road Productions. But we are going to be getting ready to go green very, very shortly as they make their way down the back straight.
Yeah, gotta get those tires warm, because with cold tires in these cars, it's not the most well-behaved car in cold tires. As I knew in one of my starts at Oschersleben back in the day at the Strength of Field race where I spun out in the first corner, but to be fair, it's Oschersleben, it's really easy to do that.
Well, certainly, definitely, I think we're going to have to refer Daniel Bouchard indeed to the Almeida Racing Academy, because if you want to go faster, enhance your car control, and indeed, realistically, look at the I rank a lot of these drivers have gained. I think the best example I can see firsthand is Rich Meesters. He used to be like 1,300 IR. Ladies and gentlemen, he's now well over 3,000. The guy is potent. But right now, we're going to put that on hold, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to go green, green, green. Rupert Spinelli is going to be leading us away as we get this first race underway. And already you can see battles happening further back. Mason Kuhn now looking to get into a battle here, side by side, as they make their way down towards turn 1. And he's gone a little bit loose, ladies and gentlemen. He touches a wheel on the grass. Absolutely catastrophic as he tries to get that car rejoined. Almost contact there, and a little bit of a nudge from behind from the 1-2-3 car. Oh dear.
Yep, yes, that is a classic Montreal start mistake there. Just getting it on the grass a little bit, and around you go in the first corner. I've seen that happen in the Grand Am races back in the day. Those were such fun races. I miss Grand Am, but yeah, sorry about all the reminiscing. I was not there for the race, but okay.
Oh, definitely. Nothing wrong with a trip down memory lane. And indeed, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm old and my marbles have left the chat even further than they are now, I will have my memories or indeed my delusions to keep me company. But right now, let's have a look further back as Connor Bell, he's already up 4 positions, ladies and gentlemen, as they're going 2 by 2 by 2. And it looks like Rich Meester's there getting a little bit of a bump draft from the car behind of Valdes Fansavicius as Connor Bell looking to try and make a move up on the inside of the chicane. Almost rubbing bodywork there with Rich Meester's. Absolutely fantastic stuff here. And indeed, another driver who we do have on the driver cam. Let's get on board here with our very own coach.
Connor Bell, such a great driver. I've known him for years in real life from the Calabogie series back when he was in SPC as well, which is one of the series that I've worked for in real life. But just a great driver. First start in NASCAR Canada, he won, as you saw in the intro. That was such a great drive. And just look at him sive through this field. That's just the mark of a really, really good driver. 3 wide, though. That's
Yeah, this could definitely end in chaos, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Bell there. And, oh, that's a little bit deep there by Valdes Fansavicius, I believe. Definitely not the line he was looking for, and he is indeed going to get a slowdown for his troubles for that. Definitely not what he had in mind. Indeed, I didn't realize as well, you've also commentated SPC. Me too. Didn't see that coming, but right now let's check in back with the front of the pack as right now Rupert Spinelli has managed to pull away a 1.2 second gap. This could be absolutely crucial here. All he has to do is keep that car in order. The Indian driver here, the driver of the number 19, having a fantastic run right now as Bas van der Lee has bringing with him Barrett Blumett, Ian Joyner, and indeed Tyler Harker just trying to stay on the back end of this battle as well.
Tyler Harker leading the club class as well. He's got 3 cars in between him and Cairo Enns, so doing a good job in that car today, and just a good run for him. Hoping to just try and not to get more issues there.
Well, definitely this is looking good for Tyler Harker indeed, as his next nearest competition is further back, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Cairo Enns. He's in the middle of this pack here. Kevin Lau ahead of him. Thomas Niemanen behind. Niemanen in the same class as is Dominic Soyo. That's a lock up there from Dominic Soyo. He goes deep into the chicane. I've got to say, beautiful paint job as well as Jeremy Childers and Jeffrey Westland make their way by. And not only that, insult to injury, ladies and gentlemen, he had the slowdown he had to serve. Absolutely expensive mistake there as Colin Bell makes his way by as well. But thankfully, able to keep that car on track, but detrimental in the results. However, right now, ladies and gentlemen, your academy coach already up 10 positions, ladies and gentlemen, on the day, and he's about to make it 11.
Yeah, what a fantastic drive. I mean, we really expect this. Doesn't he always start from the back in race 1?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the Connor Bell I know.
Well, indeed,
he
ladies
always
and gentlemen. My apologies there, Daniel. Definitely, we've not had too much time together in the booth, but indeed we're going to get even more as right now we head further through the field as Bas van der Lee now get a little bit of a move there on Kevin Adrian. Adrian there having a serve, a slowdown. Definitely not what he had in mind as he sees Cairo Enns make his way by, heading down towards turn 1. Looking behind him though, he does have no such thing as free air. He's got car on his inside. It's Thomas Niemanen, ladies and gentlemen. He's there. He's going to have to concede the position, but can he stay with this pack as more drivers look to try and find their way through? As that is indeed Philip Falcon now getting in on the action as well.
That is a great paint job. Just saying. That is probably what that. Oh.
Okay, we're good. It's sounding. Oh no, we're not. Let's find out what that crash bang sound was, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's not my favorite here as we have Dominic Sayu heading down towards turn 1. 3 wide scenario. That's Connor Bell on the inside. Gets a little bit of a nudge there, and sadly, Dominic Sayu goes around.
I mean, yeah, that just happens. It's racing. That's a racing incident. So, when you touch wheels in this thing, it's in the Spec Racer Ford. It's that might just be iRacing doing its thing, because sometimes it shows damage when there is none if you've been bump drafting a little bit.
Well, definitely you can bump draft in the Spec Racer Ford, but it will take damage after a while. Let's get a little bit of a driver cam here with Cairo Enzi. He definitely seems to be a little bit on the aggressive side today. Fair play to him, but right now he's indeed going to be challenging as Kevin Adrian has picked up a black flag. He wasn't able to serve the slowdown quick enough, and that has an effect costing him greatly here, as indeed that's exactly what Cairo Enzi is doing. He wants Kevin Lau to catch up to the rest of this pack. It's definitely a good strategy, but if the straightaway is long enough, it is quicker to leapfrog past the other driver. But right now, look at all the exit speeders. There's a battle emerging in front.
Yep, and when you're side by side, you basically pulls a parachute behind that car. And I also... Whoa! I think Brad Priest had a slowdown coming out of that final quarter, and well... Oops! There we go.
Well, that's Thomas Neiman in there on the inside as Philip Falcon
And
says
they saved
thank you
it.
very much. Absolutely chaos there. Brandon Priest falling 3 positions. Jamie Childers capitalizing on that as well. Says thank you very much. But indeed, Philip Falcon is absolutely dominating today. He's up 5 positions. Jamie Childers up 7 as well. These guys are having an absolutely fantastic run. But look at the field of cars right behind him. Philip Falcon, Brandon Priest, Jeffrey Westland, Thomas Seaman, and indeed Connor Bell with Philip Marvin as well. Kemal Kasim, Mason Kuhn. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got like a 10-car pack going here. All fighting for P number 8 in the grid.
Yep, and that's what happens when these packs combine. It quickly turns into a hornet's nest, and everyone's going to be making moves, because it's just, with this fixed setup and with this car not having a lot of power, the draft and making those moves is really the only way to get up through positions, and in a short race such as this, track position matters.
Well, you see there Jeffrey Westland making an absolutely fantastic pass, able to get ahead there at the apex, but right now he's going to be under pressure. Brandon Priest being given a little bit of a bump draft there by Connor Bell, and you can see there Jeffrey Westland just does not have the power. That's contact, and Brandon Priest is sent for a ride, ladies and gentlemen. Chaos, panic and disorder. Philip Falcon, his lucky Clover runs out, and indeed he is pushed off the track there. Absolutely catastrophic incident, but most of the cars are able to continue. Rupesh Panetti, however, did just pick up a slowdown, and as a result, Ian Joyner has now taken the lead. He had it in the bag, ladies and gentlemen, but slow down. Got a little bit too flirtatious there on one of the chicanes, and that has now put him back with the rest of these cars, all fighting for the race win.
Yep, and it is so easy to get slowdowns around here with all those chicanes, and just, it is one of the tracks that is very, very aggressive on the slowdowns, and it will punish you, and that's what makes it so good for racing in a car such as this, where you're at the limit, but you don't want to go over that limit, because if you go over that limit, you get punished.
Yeah, certainly that sounds like me, and just testing my fine lady's patience, or indeed any person who's ever met me's patience. Certainly I have a little bit of a reputation, ladies and gentlemen. Self-deprecating jokes, you're welcome here on Pit Road Productions. But right now, Rupesh Panetti, he's definitely one of the more aggressive racers in the field, as right now you can see last season's champion, Mr. Ian Joyner, right ahead of him. Now, if you're wondering, thinking, okay, you know, Ian Joyner, we know that name, we know he's a potent driver. He's about 5,554 I rating. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of the Almeida Racing Academy. Rupesh Panetti, 2,620, so he's less than half the I rating of this driver, and yet he's leading the race, and he's currently P2 in the Academy's top split, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that for a second.
Yep, just shows you the power of having a good Academy behind you, and being able to learn and grow that with just a ton of different, just with the coaching, it makes a very big difference. And shout out to Tyler Harker in third, leading the club class right now. He also has the fastest lap in the, no, that's Barrett Plummet behind him. My eyes are deceiving me this morning.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's currently about 11:30 where Mr. Bouchard is. But right now, Kevin Lau is looking to give Bas van der Lee a bit of a bump draft as well. Not quite close enough. Cairo Enzi, you can see there, he's up 6 positions. Oh my gosh. Connor Bell, ladies and gentlemen, up 18 positions. You can just see him in the background of that shot, indeed. But it does look like there has been a couple of bits of damage there. Both of these cars, both himself and Mason Kuhn, rocking a little bit of a slightly grazed front end there. But let's have a little bit of a look further back here. It's Kemal Kasim is leading that pack of cars. He's currently in P3 in the club class, ladies and gentlemen. But he has the likes of Philip Falcon, Jeffrey Westland, Carlos Facania, and indeed, they keep going. Tuca Bacasera, Rich Meesters, and indeed Philip Masson, all looking to move their way up into P11 as Rich Meese is there, making a move, or at least trying to, on Philip Mason.
Yep, just trying to get to the inside in the cool camel car. Gotta say, pretty nice livery.
Oh, I do agree with you there, as it now has Pit Road Productions on the front wing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted a biased opinion, you just got one as indeed your top iRacing broadcaster. And indeed, we do real-life commentary as well. I am hoping to be up there for Victoria Day Speedfest up at Motorsport, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know if we're going to be doing any commentary, but I am trying working on it. As right now, let's have a little bit of a look further back here as Bas van der Lee currently has taken that position from Kevin Lau and in pursuit there of the very slightly damaged vehicle of Cairo Enns.
Yep, I just think that's from the bump drafting he's been doing. He's been very aggressive, and of course, when you bump draft in this car, you will pick up a bit of damage. It will affect those aerodynamics, but not much when you're in the draft. This car is pretty resilient in the draft, I'll say that.
Yeah, he's definitely, it's going to be noticeable for him for sure. He's not going to have quite the legs on the straight there. As you can see, Bas van der Lee, is indeed pulling in Kevin Lau right behind. He's very much keen, very motivated. I do love the fact that the Spec Racer Ford, you know, the enemy of your enemy is your friend, I guess, is probably one way of putting it. Oh, that was a little bit loose there from Kevin Lau. The Taiwanese driver getting incredibly close there with the limits of grip. Thankfully, able to catch it, but let's have a little bit look further back now. There's 18 positions up, ladies and gentlemen, and looking to make it 19. You can see the likes of Jeremy Childers, again, another Pit Road Productions fan, ladies and gentlemen, right there ahead in P8 overall.
Yeah, just a great run from Connor Bell. I mean, this is what you expect from one of the coaches, the community manager, and a real-life race winner in Canada's top racing series in NASCAR Canada in his first ever start, which he had to come from the back halfway through the race to do so as well.
Yeah, definitely potent and very good in a radical as well. And I think he used to run a GR86 in SPC. Actually, you would know that better than me as he goes there on the inside of Jeremy Childers. He's not quite got the move done, ladies and gentlemen, but indeed, we're going to have a freeway fight as Mason Coon just says, thank you very much, goes and gets one, and Connor Bell has to close off the door and go in a defensive move there. Mason Coon, your ladies and gentlemen, your Premier Split 1 leader, almost taking an opportunity to make a pass on one of the Academy coaches.
Yep, almost taking that opportunity, and a good recovery drive from him. Ooh. Yeah. So slightly grazing the wall there.
Well,
that's the limits.
Go ahead.
The limits of this track is just very, very, very difficult to get, and I mean, you can do that so easily. The real-life drivers do it all the time. I mean, you gotta, it's a track where you gotta push those limits to the walls, and it's so unforgiving in that aspect. Battle for the lead.
Indeed, we do, as Rupesh Panani goes and makes a pass, heading there into the final chicane. Gets a little bit too much curb. Ian Joyner there on the brakes. Nothing he can really do. Gets collected. Thankfully, both cars will be okay, but Barrett Blumett has absolutely capitalized on that, but not as much as this man, Tyler Harker. Ladies and gentlemen, he's currently leading the club class in this race, and he's been able to get away, albeit with a little bit of damage there. As no, actually, that's Barrett Blumett with the damage. My apologies there. Tyler Harker, he could be set here to get a outright race win. This could be an absolutely monumental achievement here. 3,345 iRain, potentially looking at a race win. Barrett Blumett carrying damage.
Yep, and I mean, when you hit those sausage curbs, that will happen. I mean, it's so easy to do. The track in real life got rid of those after the NASCAR weekend stopped running here, but in the sim, there's something you have to deal with, and well, you just got to remember that. And sometimes in the heat of the race, when you just made a pass, you can forget they're there. And I mean, even the best drivers can do that. It's nothing to be ashamed of when that happens. It's a very unforgiving track. And well, there he goes. He's in the lead.
Absolutely fantastic pass there by the American driver of Tyler Harker, rocking that 171, but is he going to have the pace to pull away from Barrett Blumett? Don't get me wrong, if these guys keep battling, it will indeed bring Rupesh Panetti and indeed Ian Joyner back into the mix. They're about 1.5 seconds behind Blumett. They're very much in camera shot right now. A little bit further back, you see Cairo Enns as well, leading Bas van der Lee, Kevin Lau, and then, ladies and gentlemen, Connor Bell up 19 positions. There is a reason he is one of the Academy coaches, ladies and gentlemen. And it's fair to say he he's proved his point for sure. Up 19 positions with Kevin Lau, up at 1.4 seconds ahead. But saying that, we have just a few minutes left to go. I'm expecting to see the white flag this time round. Can Tyler Harker hold on and take a potential race win? Can Barrett Blumett fight back? Rupesh Panani, he's about 1.9 seconds back now. They've fallen back to the lead too. Don't get me wrong, what's Ian Joyner going to do? This could be a chance here to find himself back up on the podium, and I have a feeling he's going to take it as he's making a move there, heading towards turn 1.
Oh, what? Just right on the second there for the final lap. I mean, it was 14:59 when they crossed the line. We're on the final lap, but that was close to almost finishing the race there.
But what I can tell you is there's been a slowdown issue to both Connor Bell and indeed Mason Kuhn. Both of these drivers have thankfully cleared it, but that's opened up the door there for Bas van der Lee. He's going to be free, high and dry at this point. Don't get me wrong, 19 positions gain is absolutely incredible. The next highest charger would indeed be Cairo Enz, ladies and gentlemen. He's up 6 positions as well. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And indeed, Kevin Lau up 6 positions as well, right behind him. But saying that, let's return a little bit further forward as indeed Tyler Harker has managed to pull away from Barrett Blumett. He's expanded that gap by another 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, the damage on Barrett Blumett is certainly affecting him, and he's just not able to keep up with the relatively undamaged car of Tyler Harker. And, well, that's the being in the right place at the right time and capitalizing on that. That's just racing. It happens. And, well, sometimes you just got to be in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely, and indeed, it's a well-earned potential win here. All he's got to do is get through another couple of corners, ladies and gentlemen. The commentator's curse is nothing but a myth, but it's certainly been proven to be coincidental at more than one occasion. But I think the biggest battle is we're going to have to see, can Rupesh Panani find his way back past Ian Joyner? He's been keen, he's been motivated, he's been aggressive since the first start, and look at the draft. He's just lifted. He's not going for it. I'm absolutely surprised. I have a feeling this could be a demonstration of good sportsmanship here. Rupesh Panani feeling that potentially Ian Joyner. Oh, right behind. Cairo Enz with the sneak attack there. But we should give that a hold for applause for a minute. As Tyler Harker, congratulations, my son. He's gone and moved himself up into P1, gains 4 position, takes a win, not just in the race, but in the club class as well. Beats every Premier driver on the grid, I might add as well. Barrett Blumett has to settle for second with Ian Joyner in third, but absolutely fantastic stuff here. As dear, that didn't look good. As something happened there with Jeffrey Westland near the end of the race. Oh my Gideon. Okay.
Well, let's take a look at that. I have a feeling that this is, Wall of Champions, classic.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit further, I think.
Right, so he's going to dive down the inside here. I have a feeling I know how this is going to go. He's going to take a bit too much speed, hit that curb, hit the other curb, take a bit too much speed, or not.
Wrong lap.
Yep, wrong lap.
Sorry, my bad.
The joys of live production, everyone.
There we go. Try this one.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to take a dive down the outside. Probably going to be a bit late on the brakes here. Yep, just going to take a bit too much speed over the jump, and kaboom.
I gotta say, that was the best airtime we've seen so far there. So congratulations, Jeffrey Westland, for achieving that. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look here, as I believe the results are not quite in there yet. We still have a couple of cars here waiting to come across the line. And oh my gosh, Valdes Pansavicius, the first person we've seen today to join the open top Spec Race Support category. As I'm waiting for it, boom, attaboy.
Yep. That's the end of race 1, the first heat. And as we get on to the second heat here, also be 15 minutes, randomized grid as well.
Before we do that, let's take a quick look here at your overall results. And in first place, ladies and gentlemen, was Tyler Harker with Barrett Blumett in second. Ian Joyner had to settle for third with Rupesh Panani in fourth. Cairo Enz takes a second place and a P5 overall with Bas van der Lee in sixth. Kevin Lau takes 7 with Mason Kuhn in eighth with Kemal Kasim. That's a good result. He's up there in third for the club class in ninth overall. And Carlos Pacania, not seeing too much of him today. He's there rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it's Jeremy Childers, followed by Tuca Valcasuo and Philip Falcon. Philippe Masson in 14th, and Brandon Priest in 15th. Tumas Niemanen finishes 16th, Domenico Sagu in 17th, and Philip Marvin in 18th. With Kevin Adrian and Rich Meesters rounding out your top 20.
As we have a look a little bit further back, ladies and gentlemen, you can indeed see in 21st was the one and only Mr. Steve Saunders with Connor Bell, black flagging himself at the end to show as 22nd. Valdez Fancibisius, the open top spec Ford you saw at the end, he was there in 23rd with Jeffrey Westland in 24th. Carlton Howard, Jeffrey Atkins, and indeed Andrew Calabrese round out 25, 26, and indeed 27. With that being your entire race results for that one. But ladies and gentlemen, we should probably get here ready for the grid.
Yep, on pole for the randomized grid race, Bas Van Lee and Cairo Enns on second place right behind him. Rupesh Panetti and Ian Joyner are in these exact same spots, well, reverse spots of where they finished in race 1, with Barrett Blemmett and Tyler Harker in 5th and 6th. Kevin Lau, Mason Kuhn, Kemal Kasim, and Carlos Vicania round out 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, with the next row of Jeremy Childers and Tuca Valcasuo rounding out your top 12.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to be from where they finished in the previous race, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Bas Van der Lee able to capitalize on that grid invert, but I've got to say Cairo Enns is going to be very happy with this invert grid. It's put him up there in P2. This is going to be a huge opportunity very, very shortly as we go behind the pace car. Look at this grid.
Such a big grid. I think OBS just had a bit of a blip there, so we're sorry if you didn't see that, but should be fine now.
Yeah, we should be back. I don't know what's going on, but we should be back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely fantastic stuff indeed as we are getting ready as the pace car is about to pull away. Looking wonderful here at Montreal. Let's take a quick look at the track temperature and the like, ladies and gentlemen, to just see how warm it is. So 25 degrees track temp. Oh, I guess, no, 25 degrees ambient temp, ladies and gentlemen. 33 degrees track temp. So it's fair to say it's a little bit warm here today in Montreal as these drivers are going to be looking to try and continue and score a few more on the points, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got to say, despite the fact that we've got an elevated track temperature, we are going to want to give it a little bit of time here, let these tires get warmed up.
Yep, they start cold. You're going to want to get those tires warmed up, especially in such a short race as this. You're not going to have much time to make moves. And with these grid inverts, that basically, well, it inverts everyone behind you, so you're going to want to get those tires up to temperature, make sure they stay there, and don't overheat the tires, because that'll cause more problems down the line. You want to be just right in those tire temperature.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to go too hard, too fast. Indeed, I did that in a race the other day, ladies and gentlemen, and it's fair to say that I did a little bit of the sugar babes, ladies and gentlemen. I went right round, baby, right round, and it was definitely not the winning strategy. But right now, Cairo Enns appears to be looking a little bit keen there. He wants to lead the race, but indeed, that's going to be the honor of Bas Van der Lee, as we see here. Absolutely fantastic stuff as we're going to hopefully be speaking to some more drivers very, very shortly as Bas Van der Lee takes it away from race 2 here for the Almeida Racing League. Absolutely fantastic stuff here. It's Bas Van der Lee able to go and keep ahead right now, though. Rupesh Panetti looking to try and capitalize on that. He's already managed to make his way, saying that he's starting in third. Attaboy, as Cairo Enns looking to try and capitalize. But right now, one of the more aggressive drivers in the grid, Rupesh Panetti, looking to try and find his way forward. But right now, Cairo Enns putting on the defensive game is what he can do. But is it going to be enough? The whole grid able to get through turn 1 cleanly. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Hard charger right now, though. Jeffrey Atkins managed to find his way up 5 positions since the start. Attaboy.
And a bit of someone in the wall back there. I don't know who that was, but I saw someone hit the wall back in one of the earlier corners. But, poor Steve Saunders.
Oh, I hate to do it to you, Steve. Let's see exactly what happened. Goes over the curb there, gets a good little run. That's Connor Bell on the inside. A little bit of contact there from what I believe would have been Valdez Fancibisius, and sadly that ended up with a looked like a little bit of tire rod damage there. As Dominic Sayu, Kevin Adrian, what's going on here? Kevin Adrian's gone a little bit wide there. Philip Marvin's had an incident as well. Perhaps we spoke too soon, ladies and gentlemen, but right now, let's go and take a little bit back here at the look for the lead battle. They're almost free wide there, round the hairpin. Ladies and gentlemen, Rupesh Panetti is keen to try and find his way forward, but Ian Joyner, the wise man of the field, very sensibly waiting back. I've got a feeling this could get colourful for the lead fight.
Yep, and well, Rupesh Panetti is trying to get by, but without that draft, and with Cairo Enns just right onto the well, engine of Bas Van Lee. He's just able to pull ahead much quicker, and well, around this track, draft is what matters, and without it, you're gonna lose a lot of time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, something that's happened with Kevin Lau. I can see him absolutely catastrophically falling through the order. And indeed, a few drivers that got caught up. Connor Bell, I believe, has been in an incident as well. Yep, something happened with him. He's now in the pits with a beer can of a car. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what happened to our Almeida Academy coach here. Definitely something big went on, and I have a feeling it may have been a little bit of a Mexican wave here. Oh my word.
Yeah, there was just nowhere for anyone to go there, and well, someone hit the wall of champions, got slowed down, and well, chaos ensues. Happens in real life, happens in the sim. It's just so easy to hit the wall of champions. There's a reason it's called the wall of champions.
Well, certainly, I have a feeling it's going to be a wall of damage spec racer Fords if it's not very careful. Right now, Bas Van Der Lee is going to try and hold on to that lead battle. Cairo ends right behind. Indeed, Rich Finetti and Ian Joyner very much in tow. Mason Kuhn about 1.5 seconds back for this second pack of the field. Tyler Harker very much in tow with him as well. These two drivers could potentially work together as Cairo ends there, trying to make a move for the outright race lead. He's done it, but ladies and gentlemen, how long can he hold on? If Rupesh Finetti looking to try and make a move up the inside as well, backs out of it, but this could be an opportunity here. Cairo ends now currently leading the race. The club class driver, ladies and gentlemen, has moved his way up to the front.
Yep, that's a textbook case of the draft usage there. He was right there fighting for the lead. He got that draft. He got a better run through the corner and was just able to capitalize into the next braking zone there.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff as indeed this battle does continue, ladies and gentlemen, but is Cairo N's going to be able to hold on? He's working hard. He's got to make sure he doesn't take too much curb there as they go there past the wall of champions. Indeed, the pressure is on. You can see him sweating a little bit there, and I've got to say it rightfully so, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Bell, definitely not the race he was looking for right now, as we see Kevin Agents working pretty hard indeed. Rich Meester's actually looking very relaxed.
It's hard to relax in these. Yeah, we're sorry about the technical issues. We don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
So right now, as indeed we return, we see Rich Meesters there is currently trying to make his way up 10 positions. He's got the Finnish driver of Tuukka Vakaseo ahead of him, and the Finnish driver behind him, Thomas Nieminen. Certainly, in any country in the world you need to pass your driving test, Finland is one of the most aggressive, ladies and gentlemen. As right now, I see we have one of the academy coaches lurking. Indeed, Connor Bell, definitely not the race you were looking for on that occasion. Tell us a little bit about what went on.
Yeah, I probably could have spotted the driver ahead missing the first apex a little bit sooner. Unfortunately, the driver hit the second curb a little bit too hard and then got sent out into the wall of champions, as they say. So, yeah, a little bit unlucky, but luckily we got one more race to make up for it.
Well, Connor, we are indeed going to be having a chat with you a little bit later on, and certainly I do understand that we have one of the race winners here is one of the students you've been coaching, but indeed we are going to leave you to it for now. But Connor, while we've got you here in the booth, what's going to be your biggest advice for these drivers here at Montreal?
Patience, honestly. It's obviously with these cars, it's a big draft track, so you need to work together, bump draft, try and form a pack, and get out ahead from the drivers behind. You want a couple people helping you, but ideally not too many, as that's what causes the chaos.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed Connor Bell. We are going to chat up with, well, we're not going to chat him up a little bit later. We're going to chat to him a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody's a Connor Bell fan, that was your opportunity. But right now, we're going to indeed return to the lead of the pack here. As Rupesh Finetti has managed to find his way back to the front of the grid, albeit with Cairo Owens very much applying the pressure here. In second, Ian Joyner in tow, and indeed Mason Kuhn, your points leader here, very much involved in the fight as well.
Yeah, great battle for the lead right now. 4 cars, big pack, but with these packs, we've seen what can happen if just one car gets a bit too squirrely and it leads to just a chain reaction behind them. We saw that in race 1. I mean, will we see it here? I mean, I hope not, because every one of these drivers deserves a good shot at the win, but sometimes if a track just as chaotic as this, it can easily happen, and I mean, just getting a bit late on the brakes and having to take evasive action there for Mason Kuhn, but keeping in the draft, and that's really all that matters. You want to stay in that draft.
Yeah, definitely. As Connor Bell was indeed saying, you definitely got to try and work together and play for the long game. As Rich Meese is currently serving a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen, back there in P12. And that's going to put him back behind the two Finnish drivers of Tuukka Kaseo and indeed Thomas Nieminen. But hopefully we'll keep him away from the likes of Kemal Kasim. But right now, your club class leader is indeed Cairo Enns. And right now, Ian Joyner applying the pressure as we have about 7 minutes left to go in this race.
Yeah, we're about halfway through the race now, so should be about 4 more laps. We'll see how many laps it is. I mean, whoa! That's what I'm talking about when chaos happens. And now it's just a bit of damage to Cairo Enns there. Just wrong place, wrong time, but he's going to try and fight through it.
Well, I have a feeling this could end very, very badly. Too wide into this chicane as fair play. Rubish Beneni backs out of it. Ian Joyner backs out of it as well. Mason Kuhn right behind him. Certainly, it's good to know when to make the move, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, you've got to be very wary of the traffic behind you as well, because they may not be expecting you to. But right now, let's return back a little bit further in the grid here as these two Finnish drivers now going side by side as Thomas Nieminen trying to get the better here of Tuukka Vakaseo.
Yeah, just brilliant move if he can get this done, and I think he will be able to, as fair play to Tuukka, just drops behind him. But a good pass there, just a great pass. Got the draft, got the better exit, was just able to drive around him.
Right now we can see another season, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the cool camel himself, of Rich Meesters, driver of the number 64. He's going to be looking to try and take a piece here of the 1-2-3 car of Tuukka Vakaseo. You can see Thomas Nieminen a little bit further ahead, but right now you're going to see this draft in action. The 64 car, that may indeed be his age, ladies and gentlemen. It wouldn't surprise me. Sorry, Rich, but right now he is indeed potent as looking.
Yeah, just looking for that opportunity, trying to get by, and I think he's going to be able to do it here. Nope, a bit too far back, but he was able to just stay in line. Gonna try again next time around.
Well, definitely not able to get it done this time, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologize for any connection issues we're currently having there. I'm going to give my ISP a beating of a lifetime. But right now, let's take a look here at Dominic Sayu, who's currently trying to find his way past Kemal Kasim.
Just a good fight here between the two of them. They're going to try and get around each other, just try and use that draft to his advantage. I don't think he'll be able to right here. He's going to probably just stay back, probably until the back stretch, or he can just take more speed into there and get in the back and just apply pressure. Hopefully he'll be able to apply a bit more pressure, but we'll see.
Right now, we're going to return back to the lead battle, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Ian Joyner has got that lead. Saying that, Cairo Enns has dropped back pretty heavily. He's now back in P6. Let's see if we can find a replay, find out exactly what happened to Cairo Enns. Oh, here you go. Oh, went deep. That'll do it.
Yep, and getting a slowdown for that as well, which, I mean, it happens. He unfortunately also loses the club lead to Tyler Harker as well due to that. But just got to try and get back into it. And, I mean, it's easy to do that in any car. It's even the best drivers can do that. But it happens, and you just got to recover from it and just put it in the back of your mind and just keep driving.
Well, all you can hope for is an incident similar to what happened in race 1, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, Tyler Harker there able to capitalize that, as did Barry Blummer. But right now, Ian Joyner, your last season champion, is indeed ahead. But is he going to be able to break away? He's going to have to apply the lap time of a century, as I see lap traffic up there ahead as well. Not quite sure who it is. It might be Philippe Masson. But indeed, it could get interesting should lap traffic come to play, as Tyler Harker, ladies and gentlemen, sets a 150.63, absolutely blisteringly fast lap time. As right now the two leaders both doing a 151.21.
Yep, that's just what happens when you're fighting for position. You're going to lose so much time when you're side by side. I mean, Tyler Harker was just sitting back, see what could happen, and well, he puts in an absolute fast lap time thanks to the draft.
Indeed, absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as we continue watching this race, we've got about 3 minutes left to go, and indeed the lead battle could change very, very much so. Tyler Harker there almost grazing the wall. We're potentially going to be speaking to him a little bit later, if not catch up with Connor Bell. But right now, we've got battles happening throughout the field, as in P5 for the club class, ladies and gentlemen. You see Dominic Sayu and Carlin Howard are going at it as well.
Yeah, great battle between these two, and well, we're going to see what happens. Dazzle camouflage on Carlton Howard's car there. That's an interesting design, but we have a lot of those these days, and I like that design.
Okay, carries a little bit of overspeed there. Very, very dangerously rocking the curb there. As indeed, he's picked up a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen. Put the car a little bit too far over and has, as such, caught the attention of the stewards. He's going to have to try and bleed that slowdown off as quickly as he possibly can. But right now, the closest battle on track is indeed going to be between the leaders, between Ian Joyner and Rupesh Panetti, as he's going to make a move there, heading towards the final chicane. And he thinks about it. He's put a nose in, potentially just trying to get in the mindset there of Ian Joyner, as Mason Kuhn very much in this battle as well. Further back though, can Bas van der Lee catch up with Cairo Enns right behind and get into battle here for this podium win?
We'll see if they can, but I think they're a bit too far back. We're probably going to have about 2 more laps here. Oh, getting a bit loose there, and Kuhn's going to try and go around the outside, but that's not going to be the preferred line for there, and I think he might, Harker might get by him here. Yep, he's going to back out, and that's a smart move.
Yeah, definitely Mason Kuhn there with an absolutely fantastic attempt at passing there. It looked really, really good. But right now, the whole time he's done that, Ian Joyner has been able to pull away by 0.6 of a second. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys keep doing that. This could be a slam dunk here for the British driver of the number 18. But right now, Rupesh Panetti representing India and certainly doing a fantastic job of it as well, is in P2 overall. Mason Kuhn right behind, and further back there, Cairo Enns. I've got a feeling he's going to be bump drafted here, looking to try and give Bas van der Lee, yep, there you go, a little bit of a hurry on and see if they can catch up to this lead pack. With just a minute left to go, ladies and gentlemen, I think it might be a little bit too little too late there. Very, very, very close to track limits there through that chicane. We saw Carlton Howard get caught with it just a few moments ago. These drivers taking all of the risks here as Ian Joyner is still able to hold on to that lead.
Yep, he's just holding on, just trying to keep it in check. We should have about a lap to go here. Maybe, we'll see. Yep, we're definitely, I think, actually, we might be on the white flag lap. This might be the final lap. It really depends on how fast they're able to get to the line. And the line, being as far down the front stretch as it is, it might be, we'll see what happens here. I think this might be the last lap.
Well, definitely some fun racing action going on indeed, ladies and gentlemen, as right now Ian Joyner's got the lead, but this is where strategy is going to come into play, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to see a white flag from Barney? I didn't see one.
I think it probably is the white. Yep, this will be the last lap. It was so close to the checkered flag. I don't think they were able to the sim might have wanted to have Barney display the checkered flag, but it didn't happen, so I think we're on the final lap now. So it'll be 9 laps, same as the previous race.
Absolutely incredible stuff here. Thank you there to Mr. Bouchard, who makes not his debut in the booth, but I believe his second visit here on Pit Road Productions. But right now, further back though, Cairo Enns still trying to push Bas van der Lee up a little bit closer to the back of this lead pack. And right now, they're about 1.8 seconds back. It's fair to say, I think they're going to be out of time. But right now, indeed, Ian Joyner, he's currently holding on. But for how long? Lap traffic ahead, well, what I believe is Philip Masson. Is he going to come into play here? Could this be an opportunity to use the lap traffic to potentially force your opponent into an undesirable line? As right now, that is exactly what Ian Joyner is going to have to be thinking about, as you can see the lap traffic ahead and indeed the onslaught of cars behind him looking to take the top spot.
Yeah, but I think this might seal it for, maybe, nope, probably not, but it could have been if they went side by side, but I think smart move from Mason Kuhn just to back off there. Oh, Rupesh gets a bit sideways. I think he might have overcooked those rear tires a little bit with some of those moves earlier on. And smart move from Philip Masson, just getting out the way there.
Yeah, definitely gets up and out the way, but this is going to be the final passing opportunity for these drivers. Ian Joyner there, looking to try and hug that inside line. If anybody's going to make a pass, they're going to have to do it the opportunistic way, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed Rupesh Panetti is absolutely applying all of the pressure. He's going to have a great load of exit speed there, but is he going to be able to do anything with it? Ian Joyner a little bit too far ahead, grazes the wall of champions ahead, but what about Tyler Harker? This is going to be a drag race down to the line. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Harker versus Mason Kuhn. Kuhn with a fantastic exit, but Harker not quite able to get there onto the podium, but nevertheless takes a split one club class win yet again, ladies and gentlemen. He's having an absolutely fantastic day. Further back though, Cairo Enns not quite able to get the better of Bas van der Lee, a 10th of a second in it as we check in here with Philip Falcon. He had a good battle there with Rich Meesters, and indeed, let's go a little bit further back here, as despite the fact that in P21 and 22, Steve Saunders and Philip Marvin having a battle down to the end of the line.
Yep, they are having an absolute belter for... I mean, when you're racing someone, you're racing someone. It doesn't matter for what position, so we'll see. Oh, that was close, and well, he might be going a bit too fast. We'll see what happens. I think he was able to make it, but he's going to lose all that speed to the corner. And well, here we go. Here comes Steve Saunders. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to get it? I can't see from this angle. Saunders, just barely.
Well, that was absolutely fantastic there. He knew that Philip Marvin would have that slow Rex, and indeed Steve Saunders able to capitalize on that. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look here at your results. Ian Joyner able to take the win with Rupesh Panani there in second. Mason Kuhn took third with Tyler Harker having to settle for fourth this time, but albeit a club class win. Bas van der Lee, he took fifth with Cairo Enns in sixth, or indeed club class second place, with Barrett Brummer in seventh, Jeremy Childers in eighth, and Thomas Neiman in ninth, with Thomas Valcaseo rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it's Kevin Adrian, with Rich Meesters in behind from that battle we saw there. Philip Falcon in 13th, with Dominique Usayu right behind him in 14th. Kevin Liao in 15th, and Carlton Howard 16th. Valdes Vansavicius in 17th, that's a fun name to say. Kevin Kasim in 18th, Jeffrey Adams in 19th, and Carlos Vicagna rounding out your top 20.
As we have a look there in 21st with Steve Saunders and Philip Marvin having that fantastic battle there to the end, albeit on different laps, ladies and gentlemen. They still kept racing, and you got to love it for that. Andrew Calabresi took 23rd with Philip Masson in 24th. Brandon Priest and Connor Bell, definitely not the race they were looking for. They finished 25th and 26th, with Jeffrey Westland closing out your 27-car grid. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a short break here and have a little bit of a chat here with Swellio.
Now he's here teaching all his secrets to all these drivers. This is Almeida Racing Academy,
where every champion has a starting line.
The sim racer turned real world superstar.
Of sim racing, when you go into life, I don't think people quite realize it yet.
You have infinite check time is the biggest factor. You are able to try so many things, and the physics that are simulated in the sim nowadays, especially iRacing, are so close to real life.
Creating champions.
Swellio Almeida is a master at his craft. He's outclassed a Le Mans driver, a European Le Mans Series racer.
These guys are among the top 0.02% in the world.
Designed to create champions.
First NASCAR Canada start. First NASCAR victory for Connor Bell.
Connor Bell standing on.
Exactly as I expected. Very draft heavy, very difficult racing, but very fun racing. It's fun to watch, fun to see what happens. And I mean, it's been great racing so far. Hopefully we get even more. We get 5 extra minutes in this feature race, so we'll see what happens.
Indeed, it's going to be an absolute belter, ladies and gentlemen. We've got about a minute left to go. So certainly myself, I do personally love riding this car track combination. It is an absolute belter. And indeed, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be part of this league, there is only one way you can do it. You need to be a member of the Almeida Racing Academy. Certainly, if you want to get faster, yes, you can go out, you can buy all the DDE wheel, the haptic pedals, all the base shakers and all that. Or you can go and refine your talents, get faster, and indeed prove that it's not just the equipment, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, it helps, but the talent behind the wheel is the biggest difference, ladies and gentlemen. Would you rather drive a slow car fast or a fast car slow? I know which one I'd rather be, and I'd like to take pride in what I do, and certainly that is what a lot of these drivers do here, as we've seen no end of development here. Certainly, again, Rich Meese is probably one of the biggest examples I've seen. He used to be 1300 IR. I'd see him on track and in the nicest possible way. So, I'd be like, okay, this guy's a freebie. Now, no, not a chance, ladies and gentlemen. He's 3257 I rating, and certainly that's. I couldn't tell you what top percentage that is, but certainly a lot of drivers. I think the cap's around 2000, and then you start getting into that higher percentage bracket, that higher percentile. He's 3257, so definitely some potent drivers here at the academy.
Yep, some very potent drivers. We've seen that today. We're going to see one more race today, the grid being set from the previous race. So Ian Joyner will be leading the field this time around.
Indeed, he will, ladies and gentlemen, as they are indeed getting ready to grid. Vacaseo Tuka Vakaseo, with Kevin Adrian in 11th and Rich Meesters in 12th.
We'll see who follows in behind. Yep, it'll be Philip Falcon in 13th, Domenico Sayu behind him with Kevin Liao and Carlton Howard in 15th and 16th. 17th, Valdos Vanicevicius and Kemba Kasim with Jeffrey Adkins and Carlos Ficagna. Then Steve Saunders, Philip Marvin, Andrew Calabrese, and Philippe Masson rounding out the 23rd and 24th.
And then closing out the field, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Priest will be there in 25th with Connor Bell in 26th, and then Jeffrey Westland closing out your 27 car grid. Now, if you're wondering why that car sounds a little bit different, ladies and gentlemen, we are on board the back of the pace car. It's a Porsche 911, and don't get me wrong, definitely a Porsche fan, but indeed, it's not going to be the car we're going to be watching for the racing action. That's going to be the likes of these Spec Racer Fords being led this time round by Mr. Ian Joyner.
Yeah, Ian Joyner going to lead him to the green, hoping to get that feature race win to maybe close in the points gap on Mason Kuhn. We'll see what happens. I mean, as you can see, just getting those tires up to temperature, getting ready for that start. Probably one of the most important parts of these. This race is slightly longer, but it's not that much longer, only about 5 minutes, and probably about 3 extra laps. So, got to make those tires last longer than you did for the previous couple races.
Well, certainly it's going to be a demonstration of strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we've seen that being ahead at the line, it could go any way, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you've got to be ahead at the line, but certainly that final chicane, definitely a couple of opportunities there. As Ian Joyner is going to take it away, ladies and gentlemen. Already these drivers trying to get into single file here. Bas van der Lee going side by side with Kyle Renz, and indeed Barrett Bloomer looking to get into the mix as well.
Good start from everyone. Looks clean so far. We'll see what happens when we get through the first 3 corners. Is well, looking clean so far. A bit 3 wide back in the pack, but so far so good.
We see Philip Falcon very much under attack here as Carlton Howard is trying to make a move there up on the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be the driver of the 88. My apologies, Kevin Lau there, able to make a way through as they go side by side yet again, ladies and gentlemen. And that looked a little bit, yep, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Philip Falcon too far over the curves, deemed to be a shortcut, and he's going to have to serve a slowdown. Definitely detrimental there for what he had in mind. But right now, you can see the back of the pack being the most potent for racing action. Connor Bell already trying to make his way through a few positions. As I say that, up to 7 positions so far.
Yeah, he just had a great start. He started from the back, and now he's just absolutely scything through the field. Probably going to be in the front of this pack by the next turn here.
But certainly trying to make his way up there cleanly and quickly, as efficiently as he can. So that looked like a little bit of a move there, or at least an attempt at one from Jeffrey Atkins, certainly one of the endurance organisers here for the Almeida Academy, and one of the members of Team Panda, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Atkins is going to have to work even harder if he wants to make his way past the Brazilian driver of Carlos Ficagna, who's ahead in the 181, right behind Philip Marvin, though, applying a good, healthy amount of pressure. And I've got to say, I'm actually liking the livery there on Philip Marvin. It's almost like a black light Almeida Academy livery.
Yep, pretty nice livery. I mean, it's got the sort of chrome purple blue on that car. That's in the matte black. Pretty interesting livery, and of course, it's got Pit Road Productions on the car, so you gotta love it.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a way to score some bonus points here with the commentary staff and indeed the projection as well. But right now, that looks like I believe it is the one and only Mr. Steve Saunders there thinking about making a move. But Philip Masson right behind. Andrew Calabrese, Jeffrey Westland, and indeed Brandon Priest did not take to the start. As Philip Marvin there, despite having that fantastic livery, has to serve a slowdown. But meantime, let's take a look further up through the field as indeed Rupesh Banani still trying to find his way back past the one and only Mr. Ian Joyner.
Yeah, good battle at the front here. You can see the field is a lot of cars up here. I think it's up down to 6th or 7th in this straightaway alone. So pretty good race right now. These two up at the front. They're starting to pull away a little bit here, but Coensen Sr.'s down, and Mason Kuhn getting a bit squirrely under brakes there, but they gain time. If it works, it works.
Well, certainly, Rupesh Banani definitely applying all of the pressure. And again, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies here. The ISP is going to have one hell of a phone call after this, and it's not going to be one that I could ever broadcast on air. Got to try and keep a little bit of a public image there. As right now, the 2 Canadian drivers of Rich Meesters and indeed Kevin Adrian. Now, we've not seen too much of him today, but indeed these 2 drivers are duking it out here for P11 overall.
Yeah, good battles throughout the pack. I mean, he's starting to pull away there, probably just bit of a better run out of the corner and a bit more drafted. Well, he's able to pull in, but it all comes right back down. And there's Connor Bell. He's already up to 14th.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely no surprises there. Connor Bell making his way through the field, and that's no detriment here on the students. That indeed is a compliment to Connor Bell. We know he is indeed potent, but right now you see Rich Meesters there falling back a little bit there from Kevin Adrian, but right now the seasoned gentleman himself, Mr. Kevin Adrian, can see opportunity ahead of him there as he's going to try and find his way back and up from P11 and get past these two club class drivers to two Finland drivers of Thomas Nieminen and indeed Tuukka Vakaseo.
Good fight here. You can see that they're Valcaseo looking to, or no, that's Nieminen looking to, trying to look around, trying to get that position, but all that's doing is bringing Adrian back because he's out of the slipstream, and well, they're gonna have to sit in for this one because he wasn't able to get alongside.
Oh, absolutely fantastic stuff right now as Kevin Adrian is indeed very much applying the pressure. Valdes Vansavicius, he's got a slowdown right now, and indeed he served it, but Carlos Pacagna able to make his way by. Nope, still got another slowdown to serve, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed he's fallen even further back through the order there. Definitely something going on with Vansavicius, but right now Kevin Adrian absolutely throwing that car through the twisted section. If we're going to see a potential move here under the braking, he's definitely getting a little bit closer there. Now on this exit, you can start to get the back wheels starting to step out a little bit here, but right now he's got to keep in the draft, keep applying the pressure if he wants to make his way up into the top 10.
Yeah, he just wants to apply that pressure, but with the constant teetering, he's just dropped a little bit back, and this is bringing Rich Meesters back to him. But it's such an ebb and flow in this car on the track such as this, and you've got to be patient. You just got to take your time around here. Don't be too crazy. And, well, Ian Joyner's already pulled out a second gap. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely do not underestimate the likes of Ian Joyner, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reason he won the last season, and by all means, certainly many a driver gave him the consistency from the man has been pretty much on point. Ladies and gentlemen, winning a season is not just about an outright win. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be putting yourself up there on the podiums, keep scoring points. But right now, Mason Kuhn there having a battle here with Tyler Harker, one of the newer drivers to the Academy.
Yep, very tough battle there, but they're able to do it. They're just battling for position, just trying to do so. And, well, it looks like Tyler Harker's, he's starting to get a bit more of that pace. He's into third. He's so far won both club class races today. He's looking to make that a sweep of today's racing as Kevin Adrian gets to slow down.
Yeah, definitely want to try and avoid those, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the drivers are using as much of the track as they possibly can, but right now, all he can do is just keep trying, keep flying, and try and find his way up there. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, Connor Bell is now at the front of this pack. He's got Rich Meesters, Kevin Lau, and indeed Kevin Adrian looking to try and capitalize on that. Indeed, follow the coach is a good strategy if you want to move your position forward, but ahead of him by about 1.6 seconds is the two Finnish drivers here, and I do have to wonder if these two gentlemen have thought about working together to potentially benefit mutually from this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look like that, seeing as how two of us is just making those looks, trying to just get out of slipstream before corners, making those looks. It seems to be working, but I mean, if I wanted to work, I'd just swap those positions around when I could, because that would be faster around a track such as this.
Yeah, definitely. If you got time to leapfrog, that would be a good way. But Rich Meesters there getting a little bit too keen on the track limits. He's picked up a slowdown, and that could be a good opportunity there for Kevin Lau right behind. Certainly the iRacing slowdown system definitely roasted by more than one sim racer for sure. I know myself, I've definitely felt the frustration of that. But ladies and gentlemen, look at that lead pack ahead of Connor Bell. Indeed, Ian Joyner leading an absolutely a Congo line of cars heading back all the way from P1 to P10. Anybody could win the race at this point.
I mean, anybody could, but I mean, it's starting to break up a little bit, but we'll see if they're able to get back together. I mean, Ian Joyner had up to his second lead, but now it's back down to not having a lead whatsoever over Rupesh Pineni, but it's really, really close now. I mean, that shows just how how important the draft is and good exits are in this car.
Absolutely, and certainly these drivers got to think about the long game as well. As much fun as it is to lead a race, you're better off staying there. I'd say Rupesh Pineni's probably in the best spot indeed. He's got Ian Joyner giving him a draft, and the pressure isn't on for him to just keep going, keep pushing ahead. But certainly, just he can stay behind the number 18 car and potentially try and make a move near the end. As Thomas Nieminen has just made his way past Tuukka Vakaseo. Oh dear, Connor Bell and Tuukka Vakaseo. Something has gone on there, ladies and gentlemen, and absolutely smoke blowing everywhere. Oh dear. Let's get that from another angle. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there, Tuckervaxo gets a little bit loose. It just rolls. Connor Bell gets caught up in it, and absolutely calamity ensues afterwards. You see multiple drivers making their way through there. Dominic Sayu being one of them, and Connor Bell, very sadly, relegated back into the pits. But right now, let's return to this lead pack, ladies and gentlemen, as Ian Joyner is currently leading the race. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies there, as we do indeed return to this race action, as right now Ian Joyner and Rupesh Panani are still fighting out for the lead. Mason Kuhn, he's there in third with Tyler Harker. It's going to be an absolute
We should be back now. As we rejoin the field at the front here, just starting to get a bit more same position as we left it. You didn't miss much, but hopefully it looks to be good so far. Battling in front, just Ian Joyner leading the way. Save his well, no, it looks like they're trying to do the snake here to try and break the draft. It's starting to get a bit more chaotic. They've got 10 minutes left, so about 5 or 6 more laps, I'd assume. 7 or 8. My math isn't mathing this morning, or, well, afternoon now, but my math isn't mathing right now as see Rupesh Panetti making the move down the inside there, trying to get down the inside, trying to focus, and just trying to do whatever it needs to be done. He's going to try and get back up, but I don't think he's going to be able to there.
Indeed, Rupesh Panani is definitely going to be keen to try and make his way forward. Mason Kuhn, the points leader going into this round, is going to be definitely want to be trying to get some race wins as well. That sounded like a little bit of contact, but everything's looking good here. As Tuco Valcaseo has indeed just left pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. Having that little spin there and catching Connor Bell in the process. Definitely not way to look forward to. Kevin Adrian is also out the race as well. One of the more senior gentlemen has not had a good day today, but right now the battle.
All right, back to here. Cairo ends at P5, trying to get up to Tyler Harker, and well, good run there. Tyler Harker just catching up to the back. They're starting to Constantina in front again. Ian Joyner holding the lead. Going to try and just defend that position, but Rupesh Panani is looking to just get involved there. He's going to try and drive as much as possible. Going to try and focus. Try and get around, and just a bit too squirrely there, and he's not able to get by, but it is what it is. You've got to focus on that, getting those apexes correct. You're just trying to do whatever's possible here. Oh, a bit of a collision of the wall there, but looks to be fine. Didn't look like any damage there, but he's got to do what he's got to do. Big on the brakes here. Kyren's locking up a little bit. That's going to hurt his exit here. He's going to drop a... Ian Joyner in front. Oh. Ian Joyner still holding the lead as we're just back. It seems like Zippy's internet is starting to... It's having a bit of a struggle, but I'm still here. I'm going to try and bring as much as I can at this point. Big dive bomb there from Tyler Harker. It looks like it's going to work. No, it won't. And, well, bit of a goal. Oh.
Well, that did definitely get very interesting just then, ladies and gentlemen, as that was one hell of a move, release and attempt. Tyler Harker able to make his way up. Rupesh Panani, though, absolutely catastrophic here. Are we going to go 3 wide there toward the final chicane? You see Bas van der Lee, he's going to have a front row seat for this, as indeed he's backed out of it. Cairo ends almost touching the back of Rupesh Panani, and you're going to see Bas van der Lee, he's going to get a great run here. An absolutely fantastic move. Bas van der Lee absolutely slingshots himself past Barrett Blowett, and indeed Cairo ends and now takes a run at Rupesh Panani as well.
Yeah, just affecting that so That was a very chaotic section there, just trying to keep up, trying to get those positions back. We're so sorry about the technical issues, but what can you do? I mean, right now it's good racing. You've seen what happens. Carwens is just falling like a rock due to the bad exit he got. Well, right now, that gives Ian Joyner breathing room he hasn't had for this whole race so far.
Yeah, he's about 0.3 of a second ahead. Indeed, the battle is not over yet, but right now, Mason Kuhn and indeed the Heidler Harker are the only ones who have a standing chance of being able to try and find their way up and past the likes of Ian Joyner, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Rupert Spinelli, he did get caught out in that incident earlier. Bas van der Lee was able to capitalize on that. Indeed, Baron Blumett stay on the pack. They have now 2 main packs with Thomas Nieminen returning up the back of that second pack.
Yeah, the second pack is split up from the front. It's 3 cars in front. This pack about 3 seconds behind them. But it's a bit of that these guys are probably not going to be able to fight for the race win now. So they're just going to try and get as much points as they can. Because with only 4 minutes or so to go, there's not that much time left. And I think that gap is a bit in front, is a bit unassailable for the second pack right now.
Indeed, certainly Thomas Nieminen is doing incredibly well with Jeremy Childers ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, he's another driver. I remember when he started out, he was pretty decent, but has indeed managed to find his way further towards the front of the grid. He is indeed happily a family man, ladies and gentlemen, as right now he's currently in P6,